For millions of people around the world, rising housing costs in recent years have made every square foot of living space a luxury. Whether renting or owning, the housing we can afford keeps shrinking to the last breathing space. The rise in housing prices is much steeper in the city compared to suburban or rural areas. While construction costs remain similar to cities, it's the land price that creates this disparity. It's tempting to ask, why not move to rural areas where housing is much cheaper? But the city offers far more job opportunities and access to shared amenities and public services, which would be less achievable for individuals in lower density areas. For those with entry-level jobs or in lower income brackets, staying in the city is more about survival than convenience or lifestyle. Regulatory measures for the housing market often fail because any surplus living space per capita beyond the bare minimum tends to draw more people into the city, eventually reducing space back to the minimum. As a result, many of us are left with little choice but to live in small apartments or shared spaces, barely enough room for daily essentials, let alone privacy, hobbies, or peace of mind. Ironically, the rise of remote work has only amplified the pressure of these cramped living conditions, making the need to escape even more urgent. But some are finding a way out. Seeking space to think, to create, and to unwind, venturous individuals are exploring a hybrid lifestyle, balancing urban living with semi-off-grid retreats for their off-duty days. Today, we are at a humble shipping container home, nestled in a remote mountain valley to see how an urban dreamer turned his vision into reality. This shipping container home belongs to Tim, an outdoor enthusiast who spends much of his time on wilderness trips. He designed this retreat to store his camping gear, which now serves him as a peaceful hideaway. Urban living space is getting harder to come by as demand grows, which leaves many with barely enough room to live, much less space for storing specialty equipment like these in their downtown flats. So, sadly, Tim won't be taking all this stuff into his apartment ever. Many of you will be reminded of import cargoes or storage facilities by the look, but Tim has skillfully transformed this decommissioned container into a base camp for his outdoor adventures. For some, self-storage services in the urban proximity offer a temporary solution for downsizing to combat this housing crisis. Those facilities allow people to rent small spaces to stow away belongings that won't fit into their cramped urban homes. But Tim just decided to be a little more creative than that. A half-urban, half-remote lifestyle can be a practical solution if the right blend can be found. By reducing housing expenses in urban areas and leveraging the benefits of rural retreats, even a few days a week in a remote sanctuary can transform your quality of life, emotionally, mentally, and financially. The dream of pastoral or off-grid living has always been on the wish list for many, often fulfilled through online content and videos. The idea of building and maintaining a retreat might feel overwhelming, but there are always those who take the initiative and share their experiences. Creating your own retreat doesn't have to be daunting. With the right mindset and practical tools, anyone can transition from dreaming to doing. Let's talk about what makes a weekend retreat actually work. First, the space needs to be useful. Think of it as a remote extension of your urban home, a place for hobbies, relaxation, and small projects. You don't need much. A small cabin, shed, or even a converted structure like this shipping container can serve as your retreat. Focus on what you'll actually use it for: a workspace, a comfortable place to rest, and perhaps a spot to grow your own vegetables. As a seasoned outdoor adventurer, Tim is hardly fazed by cold weather. Having spent many cozy nights in a sleeping bag during the coldest winters, he didn't even bother with proper insulation in his container. Just some bubble wrap, leftover boards, and plywood after installing the floor were enough for him. Anything beyond a nylon tent felt luxurious. He may be an extremist, but his setup serves as a good starting benchmark. Heating, lighting, cooking, and water sourcing are all handled with his camping gear, and the container stays much like the day it was delivered. The solar power system is the only major upgrade. The retreat offers solutions for things your city home might struggle with, like slow cooking meals, sun-drying laundry, repairing furniture, storing off-seasonal items, or simply enjoying music loudly. This is the true healing power of a retreat, And all of this can be achieved for a fraction of the cost of adding just 100 extra square feet to your downtown condo. Even for those without cars, hybrid living is still within reach. Personal items can be carried in a backpack. Larger items and tools can be stored in bulk at the retreat. Public transportation, combined with foldable e-bikes, can serve as reliable means to reach locations within reasonable distances. For long-term stays, properties near water sources such as creeks or springs are essential to reduce reliance on transporting water. For many, weekend retreats don't have to mean giving up modern conveniences entirely, as long as it is electrified. A few days' worth of water can be carried in containers, heating can be locally resourced, but keeping the retreat powered demands more than just dedication. Adding small off-grid elements, such as solar panels paired with batteries, can ensure basic functionality in the retreat. The batteries in this system can slowly charge up during the week while you're in the city and will allow essentials like lights, laptops, and a small fridge when you come back. This way, your retreat is ready for your next visit without necessarily relying on grid power. Lithium batteries have become the go-to choice for off-grid setups. With their high energy density, long lifespan, and efficiency, they provide reliable power for small to medium-sized systems. A setup with multiple lithium batteries that offer around 5 to 10 kilowatt hours of storage is ideal for weekend retreats. While this option may cost over a few $1,000s, even at the current low battery prices, the longevity and convenience of lithium make it a worthwhile investment. The inverter is often overlooked, but the most critical component of this setup. It converts DC power stored in the batteries to AC power, which is essential for running most household appliances. Electric motors, such as those in refrigerators or washing machines, require significantly more power, sometimes 5 to 10 times their rated wattage to start. Without a properly rated inverter, these devices cannot function in an off-grid setup. For weekend retreats, a 1 3-kilowatt inverter can handle small fridges and other essentials. I can never overstate the importance of the inverter. If your retreat is intended to support motorized appliances for more than a couple of days off-grid. Many modern lithium battery packs come with built-in inverters integrated directly into the same casing. While this design simplifies installation, it also means you cannot upgrade the inverter outside the factory specifications. If you plan to use motor-driven appliances, you'll need to pay close attention to the AC power output to ensure compatibility. There's no one-size-fits-all solution when it comes to weekend retreats. Everyone finds their own way of doing things, just like Tim has here. Tim found his answer in this simple, converted container home and is happy with what he's created so far. The hardest part is simply getting started. In a world where space is increasingly hard to come by, finding your own corner, whether on farmland, in someone's backyard, or in the countryside, can change how you live. It's about creating a balance between urban convenience and the tranquility of nature. How would you design your weekend retreat? Let me know in the comments. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next episode.